What going on, everybody? It's your boy Wisdom, aka the 10th Pioneer. Look, we back at it again. Another episode, official episode of Guttaggo TV. Today we're gonna be talking about a little bit about exactly what is Guttaggo. You know, some people been asking me, what is it? How do you pronounce it? Again, Guttaggo, Guttaggai. It's Guttaggo, and we're gonna let you know a little bit about what exactly it is today. So if you stick around, you're gonna get some good insight. We gave a little bit of insight last year going into it, giving you 8 pillars of exactly what Guttaggo stands for. Guttaggo. 8 letters, and we're gonna tell you what the 8 pillars for the 8 letters stand for in Guttaggo. The 8 letters represent 8 pillars, however you want to put it. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in today. We're gonna go ahead and get started.
Any kind of game for anybody?
Oh, definitely. Don't you dare ever give up on your dreams and goals in life. Because you really sometimes only have one chance, and if you wait for everything to be perfect, you ain't gonna do nothing. So whatever you thinking you can accomplish, especially if you're gonna be a blessing to other people, because first of all, when you bless, you're not blessed just for you. You're blessed to be an opener for other people, especially in your community. So whatever you can think, you can speak it, you can manifest.
You two trying to basically going around asking people like what success is and how you think somebody else could attain it. Got any kind of game for anybody?
Listen.
I think success is...
Think you got any kind of game for anybody?
Yeah, my definition of success is...
Game for anybody?
Oh yeah, most definitely. For me, success is...
You got a game for anybody?
I think success is having...
So, exactly. What is Guttaggo? So, Guttaggo, right? It's not just a brand. I know I got it right here on the shirt. No time to chill. We gotta go get a meal, and I know you do too. So we're gonna go ahead and get with it. Guttaggo is not just a brand, but it's really a mindset. What does Guttaggo mean? What exactly is Guttaggo? Some people been just asking me about the brand, asking me how to pronounce it and everything. But like again, we're gonna tell y'all exactly what it means. In the essence, it actually something I had came up with that just actually helped me in a way to always stay persistent, consistent, and just having adversity to grow through what I go through. And that's what the word actually means. So Guttaggo means to grow through what you go through. So, Guttaggo, in essence, again, is not just a brand, but a mindset to help you have adversity, to grow through what you go through. Because we all know, just in life general, we got trials and tribulations that we may face, roadblocks, bumps in the roads, whatever you may want to call it. We have those things that come up in life, and what Guttaggo is that thing is like a mantra. So what I like to say or do in times of struggle or whatnot is make sure I Guttaggo. Grow through what you go through, no matter what they experience. It's just like a plant or something, right? You get a tree, say the seed of an acorn tree, right? You feel me? Like, you don't know exactly how could this thing become this ginormous, you see what I'm saying? But in that time and process of it doing that, it has to first go within the soil, dirt, mud, whatever you want to call it, and that's what Guttaggo is. in all of essence is growing through what you go through, getting it out the mud, getting it out the dirt to make sure you reach to the other side of having adversity. So, being that little acorn seed, getting planted in the dirt, not only that, you gotta weather the storm. You gotta go through rain, hail, sleet, and snow, right? So, same essence with us. We gotta go in order to grow through what we go through. You see what I'm saying? So again, Guttaggo is not just a brand, but typically it's a mindset to help you have adversity, to strive until you thrive. But in all in essence, Guttaggo again has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 letters. And just tying this all in essence of what Guttaggo is about helping you discover your true self, your true purpose within the process of you going through what you go through. Because in all in essence, a plant doesn't typically grow if it doesn't know where to go. Like if it has shade blocking over it and everything, it's not gonna know where to go in order to get to the sunlight, right? That's why plants typically end up dying. So, in order to actually gain clarity on what you're doing and declutter all the shade and the cloudiness that may be in the way, you gotta not only grow through what you go through, but you gotta also discover your purpose within that, because that's gonna be the thing that you hold on to know where it is that you gotta go towards the sunlight or towards reaching your fullest potential in essence. So what is Guttaggo is that? Guttaggo is a mindset. And there's 8 pillars that I like to associate with Guttaggo in order to help me stay focused. And again, this is just something that I didn't even too much come up with. It's a crazy backstory, and while we're here, we're gonna lay this all out. This was we're gonna get into that a little bit later though. But it's something that I came across basically to help me get out of some unnecessary perspectives in life in order to actually get over some road bumps and things like that. And I'm not saying it's the best thing or anything like that, but it may just be something to help you. But again, it's not just Guttaggo, you see what I'm saying? It's a whole mindset, which we're about to discuss. And those mindset is broken down into 8 simple pillars. And I want to teach you about those today. But in all in essence, how did I come across Guttaggo? Me trying to grow through what I go through. Something overcame me. I don't really know what it was. I don't really know your belief system or anything like that, but I'm going to say it was a higher power. And I was sitting in a dark corner, almost literally. And you know, I like writing. I used to write music. So I went off into just constantly writing. Not just writing a song, but it turned out to be, I guess, somewhat at the end of a book in all essence. And this thing overcame me, and it was just like, you need to Guttaggo. This is how you get out your situation. Guttaggo, Guttaggo, Guttaggo. And in doing so, I just came across taking notes and things like that, just trying to figure out how exactly I could Guttaggo, right? Like again, I was writing music. I was in a dark corner, not knowing what I wanted to do for real. Of course, not knowing how I can get into the music industry for real. But I kept writing. I guess I was getting my feelings out a little bit onto paper. And so that somehow turned into literature that I could produce into a book. And coming just across doing this process or this concept of making sure I go through what I go through, I came across these 8 pillars. And one of the first pillars that we're going to talk about is G, the true G in you, right? So, what is the G? The G in Guttaggo means to be aware. How do you start to Guttaggo? How do you start to go through what you go through? By noticing the true G in you. And what is the true G in you? How do you come to noticing the true G in you? By becoming aware. So, by being aware, we start to notice the true G in us, which helps us to start growing through what we go through, right? To help you start to grow through what you go through. And this is all in essence to help you Guttaggo, right? So how do we start to become more aware though, right? There's 8 pillars, like I say. This is just part of this pillar right here, or the first pillar, which is the true G in you. How do you start to become more aware, right? Awareness is first based off our choices, right? It first comes down to our choices. Once we start becoming more aware of our choices, right? Once we start become more aware of our choices, we can start to discover more ways to grow through what we go through, right? Or start to just Guttaggo. But how do we start to become more aware of our choices? By first, or not really first, but just also including noticing your behavior. Your behavior will decide what kind of choice you make. So, and excuse my handwriting. But our behavior lies within our choices. So in order for us to become more aware, in order to start growing through what we go through, we have to be aware of our choices and our behavior, right? So in all the essence with that, how do we start to build or become more aware of our behavior, right? In order to grow through what we go through, because we can change our behavior, but is it the right choice? You see, and that's why we have to become more aware of our choices also in making the right change for our behavior. And so what is the thing that's going to help us make sure we are on the terms of growing through what we go through and making sure that we have the right behavior? It's going to be based off our character, right? So, our character. Our character, right, is going to help us start to develop our behavior, which will help us make more of the right choices to help us grow through what we go through. But we all, in all, have to start becoming more aware of our character, which will help us determine or make better choices or have a better behavior to make the right choices. And so we can all in all become more aware, right? So the first pillar is G. True G in you, right? And again, excuse my handwriting. It doesn't really matter about the handwriting. I'm just trying to get the message out to y'all, and I guess the best way I can. So in this, coming with the first pillar. After this, how do we start to? What is the second pillar, you guys think? Second pillar. Drop in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, drop in the comments what you think of this. Has it helped you so far? Has anything resonated with you or anything like that? And if so, what has? But the second pillar, we're gonna keep on. It's like, again, I say it's 8 pillars. We're gonna continue to the second one. How are we to notice or become more aware of the true G in you, right? By next. Being true to you, right? And how do you start to be more true to you, the true G within you, right? Not only by just being aware of the true G in you, but actually being present. Once you actually start to become more present once you actually start to become more present, you can actually start to notice the true you and who the true G within you is, right? And this is going to all help you to become more aware, and just be, you being more aware will help you be more present. You see what I'm saying? So, how do you actually become to being more present though? Noticing the truth in you, right? First, one thing that a lot of people I think run from right now, and it's not too much to blame on you necessarily, but society has made it very easy for us to let this go. And where do you think that is? Drop in the comments on what you think the answer to just you becoming more, being more present to the true you. What do you think that may be? But all in essence, it is responsibility, right? So it's responsibility, right? So with you becoming more present, how do you actually start to do that? You actually have to be more responsible with what you're doing right here in the here and now, which is the present. And this will actually help you to start becoming more aware of the truth in you, or who the true G you, or who the true G within you is. But all in all, how do you start to become more responsible? Or to have more responsibility to be more present. You actually have to have, or start to look for more peace. Once you actually start to look for a bit more peace in the things that you do, right? It's not going to be a reason that you're not going to want to take care of it, right? If something brings you peace and joy, there's no reason why you're not going to want to make sure you hold dear to that and take care of it, right? What you take care of you. Takes care of you. So, with that being said, how do you actually become to having more peace? To actually start to be more present in the here and now, right? Because being present in the here and now is going to require you to be responsible. But in order to be responsible, you got to make sure that you are finding peace in these things, so it's not too much of a distraction for you also, or so that you know you're not overweighing your bandwidth for whatever the occasion may be. So how do you actually start to have more peace? Because again, even though we may not have the bandwidth for certain things, we're going to have things to happen, right? So with us having more peace, we actually have to start learning to have more adversity, right? So with us having more adversity, right, we can actually start to become, to have more peace within the things that we do, and to actually just take care of those things that we're doing or actually want in our lives, right? So that will actually lead us to being more responsible over those things. So that's the second pillar. The second pillar of how you gotta go, right? So how exactly do you start to gotta go? First, you want to discover the true G within you. And how do you do that? Just by becoming more aware. But how do you start to become more aware? By being in the present of the here and now, of what it is that you got to do or want to do, right? And the next thing, which leads us into the third pillar, right? So, third pillar is going to help us be more present. How do you think we're going to be more present? Being more present is going to take more than just being aware of what's going on right now, right? Like, yeah, I can know what's going on and everything, but am I going to actually interact? You see what I'm saying? Like, am I actually going to take action? You see what I'm saying? So, how do we actually start to be more present when we actually notice something, right? We actually start to actually have to make change. And this is the third pillar, right? Which is the T in Guttaggo. We actually start to have to make change in order to be present. We have to start to make change in order to be present in the here and now, in order to have more awareness of where we want to go, in order to go through what we go through, right? So the third pillar in Guttaggo is actually to help you make change, to actually become more present in the here and now. So how do we start to do that? In order to make change, we actually got to know which direction it is that we want to go in, right? Right? We can keep on going down the same road, or we can actually start to notice a different direction that we go, right? And that's going to actually help you determine what kind of change it is we're going to make. Not saying that may be the best road, but you got to choose a different direction. You gotta go down a different direction in order to start making change, right? We gotta choose our direction or which direction we're going to in order to make change. And just knowing which direction we want to go in is gonna actually help us to start building more momentum in order to make that change that we want to. Because we know it's not just gonna happen off the bat, right? We know you may have trouble with actually smoking, having sex or anything like that, drinking, going out with your friends and everything. All these leisure things when you know it's not the best time yet. How exactly can we choose or make sure that we going in the right direction in order to make the change that we want? That's going to help us to actually start build momentum after we actually figure out which direction we want to go in. Like again, it's not going to happen right off rip, but you got to let it go over time. So we got to actually make sure we're building momentum behind the direction that we're going in, right? And this is exactly how we start to make more change as we go along. So as we're going down the hill and the snowball, of course it's going to start off slow and it's going to build momentum after we get into the direction of a downward spiral, right? So we got to actually, in order to start making this momentum happen though, what do you think is going to keep us going, right? Going down the snowball. What do you think is going to help us keep going? If we bump a rock or something, what's going to happen? If we don't got no more snow around us, what do you think? All the other snow just melt. What do you think is going to happen? You're not going to be able to continue the road, right? So, in order for us to continue to make that forward progress and momentum and going in the direction that we want to, we got to actually make sure we have other things around us, other people around us that's going to help us to continue to go, right? So, what is that? Accountability. And this is one thing that a lot of us run from. Accountability. Excuse my handwriting again. I'm not the best writer or anything like that. But accountability is going to be the thing that's going to help us to continue to go down in that forward direction that we want to go in, right? Or in order to continue to go in the direction that we want to make the best change that we could possibly think of, right? We got to have others around us in order to continue to grow through what we go through, right? We know we might get into a dark place. We know we might be by ourselves sometimes. But if you continue to dig the roots deep before you even sprout through the soil, you're going to meet others down there with you. You see what I'm saying? But we gotta continue to go and have other people willing to have other people around us to help us keep the momentum going. Alright? So that is the third pillar. And how you gotta go, right? So far, we done went through 3 pillars, which is first, the G in gotta go. How to become more aware of yourself. The true G within you. Next was the U, the truth in you. How do you actually start to be more present of knowing who you are, what it is that you want to do. Third was the T in Guttaggo, how to actually start making more change in order to be more present, in order to have more awareness in where you want to go and where you want to be. You see what I'm saying? Next, we actually have the 4th pillar, which is another T. And this T right here is how you bring all these 3 right here together, right? Or how all these actually start to play out for you. It all comes first from maybe even the vision. You gotta know what the vision is, which is the 4th pillar in Guttaggo. So in order for you to actually make the change and go in the direction of where you want to go and be aware of where it is that you want to go, you gotta actually develop the vision, right? How you gonna know where you going and you don't even know where you going? You see what I'm saying? And I don't even know if that makes sense, but you see it don't make sense. So you gotta actually make sure you develop that vision. You see what I'm saying? But how do you actually start to develop that vision? How do you come to making sure this thing is, it's not, I'm not saying that everything is going to be perfect neither, but you just want to make sure that you're on the standpoint of knowing that you're choosing the right direction to go in once you're making this change. That you're actually being responsible, that you're going to be responsible of what this vision is holding for you. Because if this thing is unclear, you might not know what you want to do for real. You see what I'm saying? And even if it's, we're going to get there later. And actually being more aware of this vision, right? Just being aware of this vision and making the right choices to make this vision happen. How do you actually start to do that? It all first starts with the belief. It all first starts with belief. So if you don't really too much develop that, right? I don't know how the rest of that is gonna work out for you. You see what I'm saying? That belief is one of the most, it really should be in the first pillar, but the pillars are broken down in a backward sequence in order so you can start to see how you're gonna get here. You see what I'm saying? In order to see how you're gonna get to actually stepping in belief. If I just came out and said, you gotta believe, how am I gonna, I'm pretty sure you've heard it before, but what it is that you gotta believe in, and what it is, how can you start making this belief more visible to you? You see what I'm saying? So you gotta actually start believing in this vision. But in order to do that, right? In order to do this, to have more belief in this vision, you first actually gotta gain more clarity. You first gotta actually gain more clarity, right? You gotta gain more clarity, man. If you don't really too much know, if you feel shaky about what you trying to go out there and whatnot, what you trying to do, maybe because you don't really know what it is, and that's just because it's cloudy, man. When you up there so high, bro, it can be cloudy, man. You up there, bro. Like you up there with the eagles and everything. You up there with the airplanes, bro. Like you gotta make sure you move some of those things out the way, so you can make sure you know where you're going. You don't cross paths with nobody in the air, you know. It can be dangerous up there for real if you don't know where you're going. But clarity. How do we actually start to have more clarity in the things that we're trying to do, or knowing what it is that we want to do, right? It's going to actually come down to a bit of the strategy. And I know what you're thinking. Strategy. What does strategy have to do with anything about clarity? About knowing your vision? About developing your belief? Huh? What does strategy got to do with anything that we just talked about? Dealing with this fourth pillar. Or anything of the rest, right? Strategy. It's not about, like, you can have the belief, you can have clarity, you can even know exactly what the vision is. But if you don't know how it is that you're going to get there, and sometimes I'm not saying that you will know exactly how it is that you're going to get there, but in order to gain more clarity on the thing that it is that you're trying to do, you're going to have to develop some kind of principles or some kind of set things in stone to, like, set some boundaries even, to make sure that you're staying firm to this thing that you have a clear vision on, right? You're going to have to stay firm on this thing that you're believing in. But how is it that you're going to do that, right? Are you going to say no to the things that it's so easy to say yes to? Are you going to do the things that is really going to take you to the next just goal or milestone in what you're trying to do, and say no to the other things, or just don't let the other distractions get to you, right? Because not letting the other distractions get to you is also a strategy, right? So in order to make sure that we have clarity and that we're making sure that we have a firm belief on what it is that we're have a vision on, or what it is that we see, we got to develop a strategy. And that's going to help us make this change, right? A strategy is going to help us know what direction we're going in to make this change. Strategy is going to help us be more present and knowing how we're going to do the things that we're going to do. And just being in the here and now and knowing what it is that we got to be responsible of, you see what I'm saying? In order to be more aware of what it is that we're going to do, like the choices, the behavior, the character. We got to have a strategy for those things. You see what I'm saying? Next, that's 4 pillars, right? And again, like I said, we got 8 pillars for y'all. And if you're still around right now, I really appreciate you. Like I say, Guttaggo is not really a brand, but it's a mindset. And if something right here resonates with you, we got plenty of resources and tools and things like this to help you just develop a better mindset of where it is that you're trying to go, what it is that you're trying to do in life. I know none of us have it all figured out right, but we're on this path of trying to figure it out together. And if we can actually put our minds together and things like that, and just network with each other, communicate with each other, just share stories with each other and things like that, of not just the highlights but the struggles of what we're growing through, right? And in order to go through what we go through, in order to grow through what we go through, we need to highlight those things, right? And those things are laid out in this process. That's what I'm trying to highlight to y'all. It's not too much of the highlights, you see what I'm saying, of, you feel me, having adversity. It's the lower levels of things, you see what I'm saying? It's the roots of things. Of course, we gonna get to the other side of, you know, where it's green on the other side, but first we gotta go through the dark and dirt, you see what I'm saying? We gotta get into the red zone. But if you think, or if you feel like this is something that may help you in any type of way, we got a couple of things for y'all. Y'all can go to guttaggo.org. You can get you a t-shirt, say no time to chill, I gotta go get a meal, and I know you do too, so go ahead and get you one. Or you can go ahead and go to our website and just take the free personality assessment. We got a couple things up there for y'all to actually help you start to grow through what you go through. The personality assessment, it goes back onto just helping you discover your purpose, tapping into your true passions and your purpose in order to start growing through what you go through. This personality assessment is AI powered, top notch AI personality quiz that's going to help you expand your mind, start to grow through what you go through, and just start to help you reach your full potential. So you can again, you can go to guttaggo.org and you can check out many of the things that we have got for you that can help you go through what you go through. We got things that's free, we got things that's $10.99, we got things that's $15.99, we got books $10.99. Matter of fact, so you can also get you a book, Ikigai, which is one of the basic foundations of how to start growing through what you go through. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But you're going to get you a t-shirt, or you're going to get you a book at guttaggo.org, or take the free personality assessment. It's up to you. I'm just giving you out the game and information so you can reach your full potential and tap into what it is that you need to do to build a legacy, leave a legacy for others. Like again, it's not just about us. It's about something bigger than us. You see what I'm saying? So we doing it for you. But back into the pillars. The next pillar, we got the fifth pillar in Guttaggo. So the first pillar was a G, second U, third T, the fourth is another T, right? And this is just to make sure that we dotting all our I's and crossing our T's, right? Next, we got the fifth pillar, which is the A in Guttaggo, right? So what does the A represent in Guttaggo? The A represents how do you start to hone in on this strategy, this thing that is going to help you take off with the vision, help make sure that you make the right change, make sure that you be present in making this change and having more awareness of just doing what it is that you got to do to go through what it is that you go through, right? What is that thing that's going to help you for the fifth pillar? It's going to be focus. So once we focus, right, focusing on our strategy, having clarity, focusing on our clarity, making sure that we have the right belief system set up, right, and just focusing on that vision is going to help us start to make the right change, be more present, and be more aware of what it is that we got to do in order to get here to the vision, right? So just focusing, how do we start to actually focus on what it is that we got to do to go through what we go through? First, you want to actually make sure this is something hard that some people find. And I'm not going to say it's the easiest thing in the world, but if you or me or we, any of us, can't learn how to have commitment to something, we're gonna have a hard time, right? If you don't know how to commit to being focused on what it is that you want to do, what it is that you want to accomplish to make this vision come true, you're gonna have a hard time, right? So, in order to make sure that we're focusing on what it is that we want to accomplish, which is a vision, in order to focus on the change that we want to make, in order to focus on just being present, in order to focus on being aware of the things that it is that we want to do, in order to go through what we go through, right? We got to be committed to something. what is that we're going to commit to? How is it that we're going to commit? And that is actually going to bring us to actually making better decisions, right? You got to actually make sure the thing that we're committing to isn't a decision that we may inevitably regret, right? And we're just making sure that we make the right decision to actually grow through what we go through, not for something to bring us back 2 more steps after we just took 2, or 3, or whatever you want to call it. So, in order to make sure that we commit to the right thing, we want to make sure that we're making the right decisions, right? But how is it that we're going to make sure that we have the right decision? To make sure that we're focusing on the thing it is that we want to accomplish, right? We need to actually start to make sure that we have transformation. Transformation is going to help us have a better decision. So if you keep on making the same decision and you don't see anything transpiring or anything changing or anything different happening, it isn't transforming. You see what I'm saying? So we want to make sure that our decisions is something that's going to be transforming, something that's going to make something happen different. In order to get something different, you have to do something different, right? So transformation is what it is that we need to focus on in order to make the right decisions. Excuse my handwriting one more time for me. But transformation is going to be the thing that's going to help us make the right decisions, to help us commit to the things that what it is that we want to focus, that we need to focus on to make this vision happen. In order to stay firm to this belief, in order to stay firm to what we already have clarity on, in order to stay focused on the strategy. You see what I'm saying? We need to make sure that whatever it is that we're doing is going to transform our lives in some type of way. We don't want to keep on doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results. Like that, we just become insane. But what is it? That is the 5th pillar. So, what is it that's going to help us become more focused? What is it that's going to help us start to develop an action of commitment? Alright? What is that thing that's going to help us transform our lives? I don't know if you don't know, but it's this thing called habits. Right? And habits is the thing that help us make the commitments that we are in. Habits are the things that's making us make the decisions that we make. Habits are the things that transform us or are keeping us from transforming into the things that we want to do or be. You see what I'm saying? So, in the 6th pillar of Guttaggo, you got first G, which is making sure that you are focused on the right habits. Because some habits can be a disinefficiency to where it is that we want to go, right? So we want to make sure that we're focused on making the right habits or building the right habits, right? So, again, we want to make sure that we're focused on the habits that it is that we want to accomplish. And this is gonna help us. What is it that's gonna make us focus on the right habits, right? Is you're gonna be defining our goals, right? So if we define our goals, right? Defining our goals is going to help us form the best habits it is that we're going to need to focus on where it is that we want to go, right? So our goals are going to help us actually define which habits it is that we need to actually work on or get rid of. But how exactly is it that we make sure that we have the right goals in place or setting the right goals in place, right? You're gonna come down to our discipline, right? So without discipline, you can't possibly be setting the right goals for yourself. If you don't have discipline, you can't possibly know where it is that you really want to go, right? Because discipline, all in all, is the best and truest form of self-love. And so if you really not being disciplined or loving yourself, you're not really setting the right goals it is that you need to focus on or work on or make sure that you're doing the right things in order to build the best habits for yourself, right? So we want to make sure that we're disciplined, but how is it that we're making sure that we're being disciplined on the right things, on the things that the goals, making sure that we accomplish the goals that we set for ourselves? How, once we do actually become more disciplined, how is it that we start to stay focused on these goals and build better habits, right? So that's what we want to identify, is identifying where it is that we're going to be disciplined in our lives and making sure that we're building the right habits. But how is it that we start to do that, right? Consistency. So with consistency, right, you can actually start to build discipline on an enormous scale of just doing the same things over and over again, right? It actually takes 21 days to build a habit, to make something a habit. In order to make something a habit, you have to do it for 21 days. So that's why discipline comes in the middle of setting your goals and just being consistent on that thing, because you have to continually do that same thing over and over again. And that's what's going to help you to be more focused or just set the right goals it is in order to build the best habit it is to you, for you to transform your life, for you to focus on what it is that you want to accomplish in life. And these, again, are the pillars of how to start growing through what you go through. Growing through what you go through is how you gotta go. Guttaggo is not just a brand, but it's a mindset, so you can start to have adversity and strive to thrive and get to where it is that you want to be. So all in all, with that being said, that is the sixth pillar in Guttaggo. Now we got pillar 7, and like again I said, it's only 8 pillars in all. So if you still around, I really do appreciate you, and we got something special for y'all at the end. So if you actually enjoyed this so far, if you got anything from it, I want you to tap in, like, comment, subscribe, share this with somebody, let somebody know where they can go in order to, you know, just gain clarity on what it is that they want to do, develop the right mindset for where it is that they want to go, and just focusing all in on personal growth, right? And that's whether you're just on an entrepreneurial journey or whether it is that you just want to build a better career for yourself, right? With Guttaggo, we're going to help you get there, right? So the seventh pillar to Guttaggo is the second G. What is the second G exactly? How is it that we make sure that we're building the right habits for ourselves, right? How is it? That G, the thing that we should be focused on when building our habits sometimes is, well, really, which really should be, which I like to say, is our passions. And that's what we focus on here at Guttaggo. Our passions. So, seventh pillar to Guttaggo is your passions, right? And your passions are going to help you actually form the best habits for yourself and make sure that you stay focused on that, because your passions actually lead to you just, I guess, having more of a fulfillment or going after something. You see what I'm saying? So with you being more passionate about doing something, you're going to inevitably be focused to do what it is that you got to do in order to build those habits, right? In order to make those things happen for yourself. With being passions, how do we actually start to figure out what it is that we're passionate about, right? In order to make sure that we're building the best habits for ourselves, right? It's going to all fall down to what it is that we love. What it is that you love to do. What is it that you love to do? What you love to do is what you're passionate about. And again, discipline is the best form of self-love, right? So if you can do what you love and continuously do that, you will inevitably build the best habits it is that you need to be doing for yourself, right? So with loving what it is that you do, you can actually start to build some skill behind that, right? With building skills with your passions, this will actually help you build some of the best habits that is going to be needed for you to get to where it is that you see where it is your vision, right? So loving what it is that you do and are good at, which is basically your skill, will actually lead you up to knowing what your why is. Just knowing your why will actually help you to develop more skills and love what you do in order to just fall into what it is that you're most passionate about, right? So understanding your why will actually help you discover your passions also, which will inevitably help you build better habits just by knowing what it is that you love to do and why it is that you're doing it. So if you know why it is that you're doing this thing, right, you're going to inevitably, if I'm saying the word right, you're going to end up being consistent and doing the same thing over and over again, and you're going to fall in love with it. It's going to be the best form of self-love, which is discipline, right? So with that, that is the seventh pillar of Guttaggo. And the eighth pillar on how you bring this all together, right? How do you bring all this together? So there's 8 pillars. There's 8 pillars to how you Guttaggo, right? Guttaggo means to grow through what you go through. So when you grow through what you go through, in order to bring all these together, right? From the first 4 pillars to the second 4 pillars, right? So it's being aware, being present, making change, having the vision, focusing on that vision, building habits around what it is that you're focused on. Being passionate about those things that you're doing. Making sure that this thing right here all ties in to your purpose, right? Excuse my handwriting. We're gonna do better for y'all, but right now I'm just trying to get the message out to y'all. You see what I'm saying? These is a couple of things that have helped me, and I don't really know if it may help y'all, but just take whatever it is that may help you. Something may have resonated with you. Something may have, got you a little bit. You may have noticed something that you can take and run with. Please do so. Thank you. I hope whatever can help me can help you. And inevitably, we're just gonna continue to grow through what we go through and Guttaggo. You see what I'm saying? So, tying all this together, your vision, the change that you want to make, being present, being aware, being passionate, having the right habits, and focusing on those things, all inevitably needs to tie in or will tie into your purpose. Once you follow these steps, once you entangle or implement these 8 pillars within some kind of anything, some kind of daily routine, anything, whatever you want to call it. If you can somehow take notes on this or whatever it is that maybe that could help you from this, it always inevitably help you tie to your purpose. But how is it that you start to tie or tap in to your purpose, right? The first thing that's going to help you actually figure out what your purpose is or tie into your purpose, you're going to be figuring out what it is that you can help. What is it that you can help with, right? You didn't just come up and have some kind of passion to just do it all for yourself, right? No, if that was the case, you'd just be self-sufficient. You wouldn't need nobody. You wouldn't need friends. You wouldn't need nothing. You'd be all in all God yourself, right? The higher self, your higher self, whatever you want to call it. You'll be all in all yourself. If you did all these things, found a passion, was building habits for this thing, if you was focused on, dedicated on this thing that you want to do, all just for you, come on now. Does that really make sense? It's something that it is that you're going to do to help people with. This vision that you have is something to help somebody else, right? It's not all just, I'm like, yes, you play a big role in it. Don't get me wrong. But you learning what it is that you can help others with will help you inevitably start to tap into your purpose, right? And with helping others, one of the things that you can actually start with, or just knowing where it is that you can actually help with, is just starting with family, right? Starting with the family. When you just start with your family, and this just ties back all into you just knowing what your passion is, knowing what it is that you want to build habits around and doing, because at the end of the day, you want to help your family, you want to help your friends, which could be very much your family at the end of the day. So what it is that you're going to help them do, and you helping them do that, or you fulfilling something that your family needs, is technically a purpose, right? It's the reason why you're there, why you're here. If you can inevitably take what it is that you learned to build up, had the skill to do, and love very much doing, and take that and help somebody within your family, you can actually start to fulfill your purpose, which will actually start to help you go through what you go through, which will actually help you start to Guttaggo, right? And once you start to Guttaggo, it's over with. It's over with. You heard? So you actually start to tap into your purpose once you start to Guttaggo, right? Once you start to grow through what you go through, inevitably you start to tap into your purpose, right? But how do you start to actually start to figure out or help your family? All right, this thing is gonna help your family. Is going to be basically a way to start tapping into your purpose. It's going to inevitably help the world. So if you can actually start to tap into your purpose, learn how to help somebody, learn how to help somebody in your family and close range, just your friends or peers, right? You will actually start to help somebody in the world. You start helping millions in the world. You start helping everybody in the world. You see what I'm saying? If you actually start to tap into your purpose. And once you start to tap into your purpose, you've already go to go. You see what I'm saying? You already once you discover your purpose, hey man, say man. It's up from there. It's up from there, you heard? You dig? It's up from there. Once you start to tap into your purpose, you can actually start to fulfill more of your passions. You can actually start to build better habits. You can actually start to be more focused on what it is that you want to do. You can actually start to build a better vision or start to gain more clarity on that vision. You can actually start to make better change. You can actually start to being more present in your life and the here and now and what it is that you want to do just by tapping into your purpose. By tapping into your purpose, you can be more aware of where it is that you want to go, what it is that you want to do, and how it is that you want to grow through what you go through, right? All by tapping into your purpose, all right? So once you actually figure out what your purpose is, right? Once you figure out what your purpose is, oh man, my God. Once you figure out what your purpose is, it's over with from there. It's up and it's stuck, you heard? Like it's up like Chuck and can't nobody else tell you what to do. You feel me? It's gonna help you so much. It's gonna help you go. And these are the 8 pillars on how you start to grow through what you go through, right? Once you start to go through what you go through, it's over with. Once you start to go through what you go through for real, you're going to start tapping into your purpose. You're going to start figuring out what it is that you want to do in life for real. You're going to start to figuring out how it is that you got to go through what it is you go through in order to have adversity, in order to tap into your purpose once again. Thank you. Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? You heard? So the thing is, you want to start G-U-T-T-A, G-G-O. Let's go. G-U-T-T-A, G-G-O. Let's go. G-U. Hey man, I'm just, y'all get it. Y'all get what I'm saying, man. At the end of the day, you're going to go through what you go through. You're going to tap into your full purpose. You're going to find out your full potential one day. I know it. And just to help you a little bit, go to guttaggo.org/Ikigai. We got a free 5-minute Ikigai personality AI powered test. And it's going to help you to the most extremes. It's going to help you in make ways that you possibly couldn't have even thought. Just a little simple quiz or app or whatever it is that you want to call it can help you. Go to guttaggo.org, and if you want to support the brand, or if you feel like this is something that resonates with your mindset, resonate with what it is that you want to do, resonates with where it is that you want to go, I'm like, go and get you some. No time to chill. I gotta go get a meal shirt. You see what I'm saying? Just go to guttaggo.org/shop. And you can find the t-shirts. You can find copies of the book Ikigai, A Way to Build Legacy with Purpose. right? Because in order to go through what you go through, you need to tap into your purpose. In order to tap into your purpose, you need to start going through what you go through. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I know you. You gonna get it. I know you is. It's over with and it's stuck once you do though. You heard? Tell them you coming. Tell them boys you coming, you heard? This is what Guttaggo is. And this is how you go through what you go through. Dig? We out.